DCCC has put this race on its target list, and that means resources coming out of Washington, meaning funding,
Sure.
which every campaign needs. And it costs a lot of money to run campaigns in California, as you know. Do you feel pressure that if you do get elected, that you sort of are going to have to fall in line with the party because they can say, hey, we helped you get here, so you need to fall in line with X, Y, and Z?
I think when we get elected, there are going to be some priorities in that first term that I'm going to focus on more than anything. And I'm going to try to get people, whether it's Democrats or Republicans or independents, on my side. That's one of the reasons that I want to apply for entry into the Problem Solvers Caucus, because you have to bring someone from the other side into that. A federal fire insurance plan. So there are people in our district that pay $10,000 a year now for federal fire insurance. Working with people on both sides for campaign finance reform. Kind of running along the lines of what you said, we shouldn't be in a situation where people have to raise $4 to $5 million just to run, and they're looking for either their party or anyone else to do that. So those are going to be the things that I focus on. Healthcare in our district, not falling in line with one side or the other, because kind of to your point in the beginning, no one asked me to run. I didn't get a call from the party leadership to run. I decided because of the experience that I had in our healthcare system, being a doctor, my kids, and this district, I was going to run and represent the people of this district.
Okay, so this is still a way to sort of set yourself out from an opponent. Mailers. I'm going to date myself.
People still use them.
They still use them, but in the age of social media, that's where we usually see candidates, exchanging jabs.
Sure.
So I have a tweet here, and it's from your opponent, Kevin Kiley, the Republican, who's running, a former assembly member now.
That guy loves me.
And so he said this. He said, and this is dated September 11th, my opponent is one of Joe Biden's most enthusiastic cheerleaders. Help me defeat him, rein in Biden, and take the speaker's gavel out of Pelosi's hands for good. So President Biden has come under fire a little bit. Approval ratings, yes, they're just polls, and as experts say, the only poll that matters is the one on election day.
Sure.
And midterms, as we know, is always a referendum on the current administration.
Sure.
But things have changed in the country. We have this decision on abortion that has energized voters and sort of changed what we think is going to happen in November. But if you had to grade Joe Biden, how do you think he's done as president so far?
Well, I think even before that, taking a step back at that tweet, since you brought it up, one of the things that's kind of been a little disappointing to me, because I look at some of Kevin's tweets, is he tweets more about Biden and Nancy Pelosi than he does the fires in our district. He's been to Texas and CPAC, more than he has actually visiting some of the areas in Forest Hills that are getting burned out. And that's actually in his district, right? So I think the broader picture is, what are we focusing on in this race and in the midterms? You have people like him and maybe some other Republicans that want to make it a referendum on Biden. Biden has done some things that I would have done differently, and love to talk about that. The student loan thing.
You're not a fan?
I would have done things differently. No, okay. I'm not a fan. And I say that not because we don't have serious issues with respect to funding of education. I joined the military after 9/11 because I wanted to serve my country, and they also helped pay for medical school. And the payback was I served over in Iraq 2 times. We have people who do AmeriCorps. We have people that do Peace Corps. When you look at the plan that I have on my website, it is a plan in which you trade community service to actually get funding to pay for education, and not just college. I thought I'd broke a bone in my foot about 6 or 7 months ago. Was in there getting an x-ray, talking to the radiology tech. And he was telling me about how when he trained about 10 years before that, going to radiology tech school, which isn't college, would cost about $8,000. Now it costs about $24,000. Where's the relief for people like that? So that's why I say, I think when people look at Washington, and they look at Biden or Congress, they want them to actually do their jobs. Not the jobs that are just going to get people to vote for them, but the jobs that are actually going to get the job done. And so that's why I say there are things that I would do differently from Biden, and there are a heck of a lot of things I would do differently from Kevin Kiley.
What is something that people don't know about you? They go to your website, they scan social media, that they wouldn't find there. What do you want them to know about you? Something that might surprise them.
I love hiking. I hiked Mount Whitney 3 times in between deployments, hiked Kilimanjaro. kind of my dream is why one of the reasons I still exercise is I want to be healthy enough to take my kids on a hike to Mount Whitney when they're a little older. So I think people, what they don't know about me is, first and foremost, I just, I want to live my life as a good father, as a good, husband, as someone who is able to give back and help move us forward. So they may see the general, I guess, suggestion of that on my website, but just knowing that at the end of the day, I just love doing regular things like everyone else and wants to make sure that we keep doing those things and are able to do that as a community.
If you're elected, what promise, commitment can you make to the voters of this district that you will get accomplished?
I will sponsor a federal fire insurance plan the very first term in office, and I will vote to protect a woman's right to choose and reproductive health the very first term I'm in office as well. And I will increase the number of providers that are in our district also in terms of nurses and healthcare workers.
You can watch the full version of both discussions with District 3 candidates Dr. Kermit Jones and Assemblymember Kevin Kiley. Just head to fox40.com or scan the QR code on your screen right now with your smartphone. And coming up tomorrow,